What is up, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video on Lex Selects. Today it is my championship score predictions for match day 44 of the championship. We only have 40 championship games left to predict. What's gone on? How on earth are we at this stage of the season already? We are really starting to get things confirmed. We had Fulham getting promoted a couple of days ago. We had Derby getting relegated from the championship last week on the Monday. So we've got all of that to cover, and we could see a couple of more things get decided by this weekend as well. For the prediction league, make sure you check out my latest community post. All I'll say is that it's still extra competitive as ever, and with 40 games left, anything can still happen in that league. So guys, make sure you comment your predictions in the comments down below so you guys can have the chance to enter into the league. If you guys like what we see, please give the video a like. It just reminds up the channel. Let's aim for 20 likes in this video. That'd be appreciative. Please do hit the subscribe button. It does really help the growth of this channel. We're nearly at 1.06k subscribers, which is fantastic. And please share this channel to as many people as you can. All that really helps the growth of this channel. But without any further ado, let's start predicting what I think will happen in this weekend's games. The first game to predict is a Yorkshire derby between Huddersfield and Barnsley. Now, it's always a very interesting rivalry between these two Yorkshire clubs as well. It's also a Friday night game, so guys, you've got to predict this game pretty quickly to get those predictions set onto this channel. But what I think will happen in this game, I think it's going to be interesting because it's two entirely different things they're playing for. Barnsley have to win this game. If they do not get anything less than a win against Huddersfield, they will be relegated. So the stakes are incredibly high for Barnsley. And as for Huddersfield, they can mathematically confirm their place in the top 6 with a good result in this game too. So both teams have got really important things to play for in this game. Now, injury-wise, Huddersfield have dealt a bit of a blow. Sorba Thomas will be unavailable for this game, and so will Danny Ward. They won't be available, but I noticed Jordan Rhodes in that striker position. He was absolutely brilliant for Huddersfield in their 2-0 win over Middlesbrough, and that result for me has shown that they can play against the teams around them in the table, and they can get a great result, and especially to get one away from home against Middlesbrough, that's a brilliant result. For Barnsley, them losing to their relegation rivals Peterborough last week has almost confirmed their fate, and now they've got an impossible task for me for staying up in the championship. As a prediction, I think it will be goodbye to Barnsley, as I think Huddersfield will still win despite the players that got injured. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Huddersfield. Fifa's gone for a 1-0 win to Huddersfield. Either way, if both of those results happen, Barnsley will get relegated, sadly. Next game to predict is Luton versus Blackpool. Now, if we were talking about Huddersfield having an injury crisis, Luton most definitely have an injury crisis on their hands right now. James Bree and Fred Onyedema are two very recent injuries, and so has the goalkeeper as well. James Shea Easted will have to make his full professional debut in goal for Luton Town. So Luton have been another team quite unlucky with injuries, but they're on 71 points now, 4th place, in the championship table. They're not quite mathematically in the top 6 yet, but they've given themselves a fantastic gap, a 5-point gap from 6th place Sheffield United with only 9 points to play for. That should be enough for Luton Town, unless, all of a sudden the teams below them go on an incredible run of form. So, fair play to Luton Town to deal with the injuries as they have done, and to actually not lose that momentum is outrageous. They got that brilliant 1-0 away win to Cardiff as well, keeping that momentum going, and I think that's definitely secured them top 6. Now, they play a Blackpool side, which they smashed 6 past Birmingham in their last game. It was a brilliant performance, albeit it was a very poor Birmingham side. And I feel like Blackpool will be playing a little bit on the beach right now. They're definitely not going relegated. They're 16th place in the table at the moment, but they can definitely improve their positioning with a good result. I think, based on the injuries Luton will have, I think they will be hindered. And I think Blackpool may get something, but not a win. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this game, and Fifa's gone for a 2-0 Luton win. Next game is Birmingham versus Millwall. Now, there's a lot of rumours going around with Birmingham right now, especially on the future of Lee Bowyer. It's 3 defeats in a row, and one of the things that some people have mentioned to me is that if we take away the points deductions Reading and Derby have faced, Birmingham, with this form this season, would find themselves in the bottom 3. I mean, it's probably insane to see yourself having 45 points and in the bottom 3 in this stage of the season, but regardless, Birmingham have just not really been good at all this season. They've had a very short spell at the start of the season where they looked a bit promising, but now they look a shadow of the team and their confidence has just been shot. And I think that 6-1 defeat to Blackpool will feel a very demoralising defeat. I think especially the free kick goal scored to get Blackpool 6 just really summed up Birmingham really struggling for confidence and form. They've got a couple of injuries as well, especially 2 of their goalkeepers as well. Truman would have to play in goal most likely. Chong is a doubt as well, so it's not looking too great for Birmingham. With Millwall, they are trying to push for Malone and for Jed Wallace to be available. They may be a bit of a doubt with the injuries that they got at the moment, but I think even with that, I think their squad on itself, I think can beat Birmingham on their day. Although away from home, they've not been too great, Millwall, with their form, but I think having said that, I think Birmingham, unfortunately, are the worst team in the league, and in terms of performance at the moment. So, as a prediction, I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 win to Millwall, and Fifa's going for a 1-0 win to Birmingham, which is quite a shock. Next game is Bournemouth versus Fulham. Now, some people may think, the significance of this game has definitely gone down a little bit, disappointingly, because Fulham winning, automatic promotion, but the stakes are still high. Bournemouth can find themselves on 80 points and within only a matter of points confirming promotion. So there's still a lot to play for in that front for Bournemouth. But also, if Fulham manage to beat Bournemouth in this game, then Fulham will most definitely be champions. Bournemouth will not be able to overtake them. So luckily, there's still a little bit to play for both of these teams. And I'm hoping that's going to provide a really good game to watch. And both teams managed to get a good win, both winning by 3-0. So Bournemouth got a 3-0 win against Coventry. It was a little bit shaky, especially in the first half, but it reminded me of their win against Huddersfield, where they didn't really take too many chances. They only had 5 shots on target, but 3 of those were goals. So they've been ruthlessly clinical going forward. And as with Fulham, they were just on a different class to Preston, beating them by 3-0. They scored 3 before half-time, and they just managed to manage the game very well in the second half, and that confirmed their promotion. And undoubtedly, Fulham was celebrating. Now, that could hinder their focus for this game, especially expectations can now drop for now they secured the job. But if they do want to confirm themselves as champions, they can see themselves really going for this game. And Bournemouth would definitely be wanting to go for this game as well. So I'm hoping it's going to be a classic, but I don't think there'll be many goals. I think I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I can't really separate the two sides, and that was the reverse fixture result as well, so I'll match that. And Fifa's gone for a 0-0 draw, which actually may not surprise me, to be honest. Next game is Derby versus Bristol City. Now, this is a first on Next Alexis. This is the first time I'm predicting a game with a team that have already been relegated. I've been covering 3 seasons of Championship football, and both of the first 2 seasons I covered, relegation went to the final day of the season. So it's going to feel quite unique, this experience for me. And Derby, I have a feeling they could rotate, give some young players a chance to play against this Bristol City side where they don't really have much to play for either. They actually got a really good win recently against Stoke City, and actually a great draw against Sheffield United as well. So actually, Bristol City have slowly but surely improved results. But Derby at home have been really good this season. They've been rivaling the top half of the table in terms of their home form. And I have a feeling Derby will play with a bit of pride. So as a prediction, I'm going to slightly edge Derby for a 2-1. And Fifa's actually going to agree with me on that one. Next game is Hull versus Reading. Now, Reading, they only need to win and they'll relegate Peterborough and Barnsley regardless of their result. So basically, the circumstances is that Barnsley and Peterborough have to better Reading's result, but Barnsley especially need to win, For the fact that they lost to Peterborough, Barnsley have definitely got a lot more to do. Peterborough giving themselves a bit of a chance, but now we're going to talk back to Reading, where they had a really good comeback, like an inspirational comeback against Swansea, to be 4-1 down and to draw 4-4. This team has shown a lot of character, and you know what? I wouldn't even be surprised if Paulins is given the permanent manager role for next season. I don't know how I'd feel about that, but obviously he's proven me wrong at this stage of the season at least, and we'll see if he can carry that on into next season. They play a Hull side where they don't really have much to play for. They actually had a really good win recently at home against Cardiff. It was their first home win, which I think in their last 7 or 8 home games. But they then lose their next game, straight after that when they lost 2-1 against Millwall. So I have a feeling this will be a close game. I was thinking a draw, but I'm actually going to back Reading to get the job done and to confirm their survival by getting a 2-1 away victory. And Fifa's gone for a 1-1 draw, which was going to be my alternative prediction. Next game is Peterborough versus Nottingham Forest. Now, Peterborough will be hoping and praying that Reading do not win. But they've got a really tough job on their hands. They have to beat Nottingham Forest, really. A draw could be okay at the moment, especially if Reading lose against Hull, but I don't think that's personally going to happen, meaning that Peterborough must beat a Nottingham Forest team that managed to smash 4 goals past West Brom. They have definitely responded very well to their 1-0 defeat against Luton Town, 5 wins in their last 6 matches. They are the in-form team of the Championship, and I think it will be almost like impossible for Peterborough to take this side down. And I think as a prediction, I think Peterborough will lose their battle in the Championship. And I'm going to say a 2-0 away win to Nottingham Forest. Despite the injuries they've got, you know, losing Keenan Davis to the rest of the season is a bit of a blow. But I think Nottingham Forest still have enough, and they can replace him with Sam Surridge, which by himself is a great amount of quality to have in your squad. So I'm going to back Nottingham Forest to get a 2-0 win. FIFA saying 1-0 Forest. That will send Peterborough down. Next game to predict is Sheffield United going up against Cardiff. Now, Sheffield United, at the moment, they are in an injury crisis as well. So we were talking about teams with injury crisis, and Sheffield United would definitely make a case for the biggest injury crisis because they've got 4 of their first 4 choice strikers all injured. 4 strikers injured in itself is unbelievable, and that is definitely going to affect Sheffield United's momentum to try and get automatically into the top 6 place. You know, they're on 66 points, only 1 point ahead of Millwall, where their form has really improved. Blackburn are only 3 points behind. Middlesbrough only 3 points behind with a game in hand over Sheffield United. And QPR, who had been falling down recently, also are 3 points behind Sheffield United. So Sheffield United, if they don't get a good result against this Cardiff team, they could really be in danger of losing that top 6 place. Cardiff don't have a lot to play for. I think there'll be a lot of the many teams that will be on the beach. They have managed to sustain back-to-back defeats recently against Hull and Luton Towns respectively. But something tells me that Sheffield United have lost their form. I think with the players that go on the pitch, I mean, yes, Morgan Gibbs-White, I think, can chip in with a goal here and there, but apart from that, I don't really see anyone else who could chip in with goals. And Cardiff can score a couple of goals on their day. I have a feeling this is going to be a shock. I think Sheffield United, with that injury crisis, I think it's just completely destroyed their momentum, and I think they'll lose actually. So I'm actually going to go for a 1-0 away win to Cardiff. That will be my shock prediction this weekend. I've not gone for many shocks, but I'm going to go for one this time. FIFA's gone for 2-1 Cardiff, so maybe FIFA and I are thinking, you know, a very similar idea here. Next game is Stoke QPR. I mean, QPR, as I did say, you know, if they win this game and Sheffield United don't win this game, they can join on points with them, and they can still have a small possibility of getting into that final playoff place. They play a Stoke side where they've been a bit inconsistent in their last 4 games. It's alternated between a win and a loss, and they won their last game, Stoke City, against Blackburn Rovers, a 1-0 away win there. I just have a feeling that, being typical Stoke, I think they'll definitely lose out on their form. And I think QPR, in their last 2 performances, they have really improved. And I think QPR will now try and start getting their momentum back, despite the really devastating blow in losing Moses Odebajo to injury and Yohan Barbe. They have got a lot of defenders especially injured as well. But I think Mark Warburton and QPR will still find a way to churn in a result. I'm going to edge 2-1 to the away side, and FIFA's gone for 3-0 Stoke. Next game is Swansea versus Middlesbrough. Swansea, I think, will be on the beach for this game. They threw away a 4-1 lead against Reading, which I think they'll be very disappointed by. Middlesbrough, I mean, what's happened with them? I mean, Middlesbrough looked completely unstoppable, but they've sustained 3 defeats in their last 4 and have not scored in those last 4 games as well. That is 360 minutes without scoring a goal. Since their 4-0 victory over Peterborough, Middlesbrough have not scored a single goal. And I tell you this, they definitely need to get a result in this game if they still want to have a chance here. But I think this is going to be a 0-0 draw. I can see both these teams not really quite having enough. I think Swansea may have more of the ball, and Middlesbrough will try and defend and play on the counter, but I think both teams will not find the back of the net. So I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw, actually, and FIFA has gone for 3-0 away victory to Middlesbrough. Next game is West Brom versus Coventry. Now, I remember the reverse fixture quite vividly, and it was a 2-1 away win to West Brom. West Brom at that time were one of the very few teams to actually beat Coventry at the CBS Arena. Now, I think this is going to be a really interesting game at the Hawthorns. Now, there has been rumours that Steve Bruce will manage West Brom next season, which has not got some West Brom fans happy. I mean, Steve Bruce just reminds me of that Neil Warnock view, really. He's managed so many clubs, and he's going to be a rival to so many clubs now. You know, obviously he's been involved with Aston Villa, who are really fierce rivals with West Brom, so he's definitely not going to be a very popular manager, you know, trying to lead West Brom to glory. Coventry, I think, will be feeling, you know, a lot more positive. You know, despite losing their last game against Bournemouth, you know, they still actually competed well in that game. They just missed their chances, and you would feel if they had a real clinical striker, Coventry could actually improve on their 11th place position at the moment. I think against this West Brom team, I think West Brom at home have improved. They've actually won 3 of their last 4 home games. Coventry have won 2 away games in a row. So it's tough to see who will get the edge here, but I'm actually going to compromise and say a draw. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw between the two teams, and FIFA saying a 0-0 draw. Last game to predict is the Lancashire derby between Preston and Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn managed to get the better of Preston in a reverse fixture in this game, but Blackburn have got a lot of pressure now. You know, they're 3 points off the top 6. They still have a chance to get in there despite only winning once in their last 6 and sustaining 3 defeats in those last 5 games as well, which is quite astounding, really. It goes to show that no team really wants the final top 6 place. It's quite unbelievable. They play a Preston side where they could easily be on the beach. I mean, they're 15th place. They actually had a really good run of form, but that was halted when they lost 3-0 to Fulham, but that is no disrespect with that. Fulham were on another level on that day. And I think Preston, they got a really good result recently against another Lancashire club in Blackpool, and I just have that feeling that Preston will really go for this game. I think Ryan Lowe will definitely try and establish and win the fans over by beating these rival games. And Blackburn recently have just fallen short a lot of the time in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net against their opposition clubs. So, as a prediction, I am going to edge the Lily Whites Preston. I'm going to say a 2-1 victory to Preston. FIFA saying 1-0 to Blackburn. It really could go either way in that game. So, guys, these are all my predictions for the Championship games. Make sure you guys predict those games in the comments down below. And if you're wondering, guys, on the left-hand side of the screen are my Premier League predictions as well. If you guys like what you see, please give the video a like. It does tremendously help the channel. Please do hit the subscribe button if you've not done so. It does really help the channel. And please share this channel to as many people as you can. All of that really helps. That wraps up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you're still at the end of this video. And as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.